Ava opened her front door and froze. Her parents, the same people who abandoned her 5 years ago, were standing on her porch as if they had only been gone for a weekend. They smiled like everything was normal, like they had never kicked her out, like she hadn't cried alone wondering why her own family didn't want her. Her stepmother walked in without being invited, her heels clicking on the floor, her eyes scanning Ava's home, as if she owned every corner of it. She lifted her chin and gave a fake smile. "Well," she said, "you've done all right for yourself." Ava stayed quiet. Her heart was beating fast, but her face stayed calm. She had learned long ago that showing emotion in front of them only made things worse. Her father stepped forward, hands shaking a little. "Ava, sweetheart, we need to talk." Ava didn't move. "About what?" They exchanged a look. Then her stepmother sighed dramatically, as if she were the victim. "It's about Rachel," she said. "She's in trouble." Ava felt a familiar ache in her chest at her stepsister's name. Rachel, the favorite child. The princess. The one who never faced consequences for anything. "What kind of trouble?" Ava asked. Her stepmother didn't waste a second. "She's made some financial mistakes. $150,000 in debt." Ava blinked. "That's not a mistake. That's a disaster." Her father jumped in quickly. "She needs help. Real help. And you," he glanced around at the house again. "Well, you're doing well now." Ava's stomach tightened. She knew exactly where this was going. "Sell the house," her stepmother said, her voice cold and firm. "Use the money to pay Rachel's debt." Ava actually laughed, short, disbelieving. "You want me to sell my home?" "You don't need all this space," her stepmother replied. "You're a woman living alone. Rachel, on the other hand, has a future to protect." Ava felt heat rise in her chest, but she kept her voice calm. "This house is mine. I worked for it. I bought it. I'm not selling anything." Her stepmother rolled her eyes. "Don't be selfish. Family helps each other." Ava finally stepped forward, her voice soft but firm. "Family." Her father looked down at his shoes. Her stepmother crossed her arms. Neither said a word. Ava nodded slowly, finally understanding something she had been trying to ignore for years. They had not come to reconnect. They had not come to apologize. They had come to use her. She opened the door again, wider this time. "You can leave," she said. Her stepmother scoffed. "Ava, stop being dramatic." Ava looked directly into her father's eyes, the man who stayed silent the day they threw her out with nothing but 2 bags. "You lost the right to call me family," she said quietly. "The day you threw me out." The words hung in the air, sharp, painful, true. Ava didn't wait for a response. She stepped back, still holding the door open. This time they left. Ava grew up overshadowed by Rachel, who was always treated like royalty. From the moment Rachel entered the picture, everyone in the house revolved around her. If Rachel wanted attention, she got it. If she made a mistake, it was forgiven instantly. If she wanted something expensive, it was bought without question. Meanwhile, Ava learned to stay quiet, stay small, and stay out of the way. Her stepmother made sure of that. She was clever, controlling, and always knew how to twist things so Rachel looked perfect and Ava looked like the problem. Ava was blamed for tiny things, scolded for nothing, and constantly reminded that she wasn't enough. Her father, instead of protecting her, always took the stepmother's side. He wasn't cruel, but he was weak. He chose peace with his wife over fairness to his daughter, and Ava felt that choice every single day. By the time Ava was 21, the tension in the house had grown heavy. One day, Rachel accused Ava of sabotaging her job interview, claiming Ava had ruined her makeup, hidden her shoes, and even made her late on purpose. None of it was true, but the stepmother reacted instantly with outrage, treating Rachel like a victim. Ava tried to defend herself, but her father wouldn't listen. Her stepmother yelled until Ava's ears rang, and her father quietly told her she needed to leave for the good of the family. That night, they packed Ava's things in 2 small bags and pushed her out like she was nothing. No money, no plan, no support. Ava slept on a friend's couch for a while, feeling embarrassed, lost, and unwanted. But when she felt she had overstayed her welcome, she moved into her car. Nights were cold. Days were long. She ate cheap meals and showered at a gym. It was one of the hardest times of her life, but something inside her refused to break. Slowly, step by step, she started rebuilding. She found a job as an office assistant. Basic, low-paying, but steady. She worked harder than anyone else there, stayed late, learned every task she could, and said yes to every opportunity. Her dedication paid off. Within a few years, she became an HR specialist, earning more, learning more, and finally beginning to feel stable. Eva saved aggressively, every month putting away whatever she could. She didn't waste money, didn't buy things she didn't need, and didn't trust that life would stay steady. She had learned the hard way that everything could disappear in a second. When she turned 27, she finally reached a milestone she once thought was impossible. She bought her first home. It wasn't huge or fancy, but it was hers. Every wall, every corner, every piece of furniture was a reminder that she had built her life with her own hands. No help, no family, no safety net, just her strength and her determination. Now Eva lives a calm, private, peaceful life. She doesn't chase drama, doesn't seek attention, and doesn't need anyone's approval. Her home is her sanctuary. She wakes up knowing she is safe. She cooks her own meals, plays soft music in the evenings, and sometimes sits by the window just enjoying the silence. She is proud of the person she became, strong, independent, and healed in ways she never thought possible. Her house represents more than just walls and a roof. It represents freedom. It represents survival. It represents the girl who was thrown out, but refused to stay down. Eva finally has a life she loves, a life she earned. And she protects it with everything she has. Parents returned again with pressure and entitlement, acting as if Eva owed them her whole life. They didn't knock gently this time. They didn't come with smiles. They came with expectations. They stood on her doorstep with serious faces, ready to demand more from her. The moment Eva opened the door, her stepmother pushed inside, already talking as if the house belonged to her. Her father followed quietly, avoiding eye contact. "We need to discuss Rachel," her stepmother said, folding her arms. Eva already felt tired. She knew nothing good ever came when Rachel's name was involved. Still, she stayed calm and asked, "What happened now?" Her stepmother sighed loudly, like she was carrying the weight of the world. "Rachel is struggling again. She has expenses." Eva raised an eyebrow. "What kind of expenses?" This time her father spoke. "She has loans, credit cards. She's fallen behind." "How far behind?" Eva asked, though she wasn't sure she wanted the answer. "Very far," her stepmother said sharply. "Rachel likes nice things, luxury brands, high-end makeup, designer clothes. That's normal for someone her age." Eva blinked. 1 or 2 luxury items is normal. $150,000 of debt is not. Her stepmother ignored the comment. "She made mistakes. And now she needs your help." Eva folded her arms. "I already told you no." That word, no, seemed to wake a storm inside her stepmother. She narrowed her eyes. "Eva, stop being selfish. Look around you. You're living in a full house by yourself. You're a woman alone. You don't need all this space. Rachel, on the other hand, has a future to protect." Eva kept her voice steady. "This is my home. I worked years to have it." Her stepmother scoffed. "Your little HR job? Please. That's nothing. Rachel's career actually matters." Eva felt that familiar sting, but she didn't show it. "My career is none of your business." "Oh, sweetheart," her stepmother said with a fake smile. "Everything about you is our business when your family needs you." Eva shook her head. "Family didn't care about me when they threw me out." Her father finally looked up, guilt in his eyes. "Eva, just think about it. Selling the house would help everyone. Rachel needs this more than you do." Eva stared at him in disbelief. "You really expect me to give up the only stable thing I have? For someone who ruined my life once already?" Her stepmother stepped closer, lowering her voice. "If you don't help, things will get difficult for you. Debt collectors don't care who's responsible. They just want their money." Eva's heart tightened. "I'm not paying Rachel's debt." Her stepmother leaned back with a cold smile. "We'll see." Eva pointed at the door. "Please leave." This time they didn't argue. They left in silence, anger simmering on their faces. Eva watched them walk away, but something inside her felt uneasy. Their visit hadn't felt like a request, it felt like a warning. That night, Eva sat on her couch trying to relax, but her mind kept replaying their words. She tried to distract herself with music, cleaning, even cooking, but the uneasiness stayed. She finally went to bed, hoping rest would clear her thoughts. But just as she was closing her eyes, her phone buzzed with an email notification. She opened it, and her entire body went cold. It was a legal notice. According to the document, Eva was listed as a financial guarantor for Rachel's debt. If Rachel didn't pay, the responsibility would fall on Eva. The paper had her name, her old signature, and even her old address from years ago. Eva stared at it, feeling her heart pound in her chest. She had never signed anything like this. She knew immediately. It was forged. Her stepmother's warning echoed in her head. If you don't help, things will get difficult for you. Eva closed her eyes and took a deep breath. They weren't just asking for help now. They were trying to trap her. And this time, she knew the fight was only beginning. Rachel begins cyberbullying Eva almost immediately. Messages, posts, and comments flood her social media accounts, each one designed to make her feel guilty. Rachel calls her selfish, uncaring, and greedy. She posts pictures of herself with expensive things, tagging Eva as the selfish sister who can't help me. Eva stares at the screen, her chest tight, but she refuses to reply. She has spent years learning not to let people like this control her emotions. Still, the attacks sting because they come from the family she once trusted, the people who should have protected her. As if Rachel's attacks weren't enough, Eva's extended family starts pressuring her too. Aunts, uncles, and even distant cousins call and visit, dropping comments like, "Eva, women should be nurturing," and "family comes first. Don't you care about your sister?" Every word feels like a weight pressing down on her chest. Eva listens politely, smiles weakly, and tries to explain herself, but no one seems to hear her side. They only see what they want to see. A woman who should sacrifice everything for family, no matter how unfair or dangerous. Feeling cornered, Eva hires a lawyer to understand the legal notice she received. The lawyer explains that the forged documents make things complicated. Someone created these papers to trick you into being financially responsible, the lawyer says. And technically, creditors could pursue you unless we act quickly. Eva feels a shiver run through her. The house she worked so hard to buy, the life she built with her own hands, could be at risk. Late at night, Eva's mind drifts back to old memories. She remembers her stepmother constantly comparing her to Rachel, saying, "Why can't you be more like her? She's perfect in every way." She remembers her father telling her, "A good daughter sacrifices for the family," and Eva nodding silently because she had learned long ago that arguing only made things worse. She remembers being silenced, ignored, and dismissed for years, and the anger and sadness rise inside her again. One evening, Eva finally decides she cannot carry this burden alone, and confronts her father privately. She finds him in the study, staring at old photographs. "Dad," she begins, her voice trembling slightly, "why didn't you ever protect me? Why did you let them throw me out?" Her father sighs heavily, shoulders slumping. "I was afraid," he admits quietly. "Your stepmother. She wouldn't have let me help. I should have done more, Eva. I'm sorry." Eva looks at him, her heart a mix of hurt and disappointment. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't get my life back. She turns and leaves, feeling both sadness and a small spark of determination. The next day her stepmother calls, her voice sharp and threatening. "Sell the house, Eva. Or we'll make your life difficult. You know we can find ways." Eva listens, clenching her fists, but doesn't reply. She feels the weight of the threat, the danger lurking over the home she fought so hard to keep. Soon, the threats become more real. Debt collectors start calling, asking about Rachel's loans and credit cards, claiming Eva is responsible. They leave messages late at night, disturbing her peace. Eva answers politely, denies any responsibility, and hangs up, but the fear doesn't leave her. She begins to feel the pressure in her chest, the worry that the home she loves so much could be taken from her. Despite all this, Eva doesn't give up. She starts carefully investigating the forged documents herself. Every page, every signature, every stamp becomes a puzzle she has to solve. She checks with banks, contacts old employers, and looks for any evidence of fraud. The process is exhausting, both mentally and emotionally. Sometimes she wants to scream, cry, or give up entirely, but she refuses. This is her life, her home, and she will not let them take it from her. As days turn into weeks, the cyberbullying continues, the family pressures persist, and the legal complications grow. But in the midst of it all, Ava starts to notice a pattern in the forged documents, a mistake someone made. She sees cracks that hint someone close to Rachel must have known about the fraud. The discovery gives her a small sense of hope. She knows it won't be easy, but maybe, just maybe, she can fight back. Her emotions are a storm. Fear, anger, sadness, and determination swirl together. Ava sits in her home, once her sanctuary, feeling both terrified and empowered. She realizes that the people who abandoned her, who threatened her, who tried to control her, can't break her spirit. Not now. Not ever. Ava makes a silent promise to herself that night. She will protect her home, her independence, and her peace. She won't let anyone, neither Rachel, her stepmother, nor anyone else, take what she has earned. The battle has only just begun, but for the first time in years, Ava feels ready. Ava finds old files hidden in a box she kept from years ago. As she flips through the papers, her heart stops. There it is. Proof that Rachel used Ava's identity when she was just 18 to open multiple credit lines. Every loan, every credit card, every debt that had caused chaos now had Rachel's fingerprints, but Ava's name attached. She feels a mix of anger, shock, and a bitter sense of betrayal. How could Rachel do this? How could her own father have let it happen? Ava searches through more files and finds letters and notes suggesting her father knew about it all along. He had been warned by the stepmother, who insisted he stay silent. He had chosen peace over protecting his daughter, allowing Rachel's deceit to continue unchecked. Ava clenches her fists. The betrayal runs deeper than she ever imagined. The next morning, Ava decides she can no longer stay silent. She calls her stepmother and father to the house. When they arrive, her stepmother immediately begins with fake sweetness. Ava, darling, are you ready to do the right thing? Ava takes a deep breath. I know everything, she says firmly. I know Rachel used my identity to open credit accounts when I was 18. I know you, Dad, knew and did nothing because stepmother told you not to help me. Her father shifts uncomfortably, looking away. Ava, I didn't know how to. Don't. Just don't. Ava interrupts. You let this happen. You let her ruin my life and threaten everything I've worked for. Her stepmother's face hardens. How dare you accuse me? You've always been selfish, Ava. You're the one who broke this family by being difficult, by refusing to help Rachel. You're tearing everyone apart. Ava laughs, sharp and bitter. Me? I didn't tear this family apart. You did. You've spent years controlling, manipulating, and lying. Rachel's fraud is your mess, not mine. Rachel steps forward, her face pale and eyes wide. You don't understand, she whispers, voice breaking. I was jealous. Dad liked you more. I couldn't stand it. I hated that you were always the one he praised. I just wanted. I don't know. I just wanted attention. Ava looks at her, a mix of sorrow and disbelief in her eyes. You destroyed my life because of jealousy? Rachel bursts into tears, collapsing onto a chair. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. Ava takes a step back, fighting her own anger and hurt. She reaches for the files she had collected, her lawyer's letters, and the police report she had prepared. She spreads everything out on the table, sliding the documents toward them. I have all of it. Every forged signature, every credit account, every letter. The lawyer is ready. The police are ready. And I've filed a report. Her stepmother recoils, her composure cracking. You wouldn't dare. Ava interrupts, voice firm and calm. I will not let you destroy me. Not now. Not ever. Within minutes, there is a knock at the door. 2 police officers step in, their expressions serious. They ask questions, confirm the identities involved, and finally detain Rachel for fraud. Rachel cries, pleading for mercy, but it is too late. The officers lead her away. Her father collapses into a chair, head in his hands, shaking. Ava. I didn't know it would come to this, he whispers. Ava watches silently, her heart heavy but resolute. She doesn't feel triumph or satisfaction. She feels closure. She feels the weight of years of injustice finally begin to lift. It's too late for apologies. It's too late for family to be the same. But it's not too late for her life, her home, her peace. She looks at the empty room where her parents had been, the space now quiet and still. For the first time in years, she feels the power of control over her own destiny. The betrayal, the threats, the lies, they can't touch her anymore. Eva knows she has won more than a legal victory. She has reclaimed herself. Court holds Rachel and her stepmother financially responsible, not Eva. The judge listens to all the evidence, looks at the forged documents, and carefully examines the debt accounts. In the end, it is clear that Eva had nothing to do with the fraud. The relief washes over her like a cool breeze. She finally feels the weight she has been carrying for years begin to lift. Her name is cleared, and her hard-earned home is safe. Eva watches as Rachel and her stepmother are ordered to pay back the money and face the consequences of their actions. Seeing them finally held accountable gives Eva a strange sense of peace. The legal battle is over, and she can breathe without fear of losing the life she worked so hard to build. Her home, her independence, and her future are once again secure. Her father comes to see her soon after the court decision. He looks worn, regretful, and full of unspoken apologies. "Eva," he says softly, I'm so sorry. I should have protected you. I failed you." Eva listens quietly, her heart steady but guarded. She has forgiven him in her own way, but forgiveness doesn't mean returning to the same old patterns. "Dad," she says calmly, "I appreciate your words, but things have changed. I love you, but I can't let the past hurt me again. I need boundaries." Her father nods slowly, realizing she is serious. For the first time, he truly sees that his daughter has grown into someone strong, independent, and in control of her own life. After the intense months of stress and betrayal, Eva decides to start therapy. She needs help untangling years of guilt, shame, and fear that were forced on her by her stepmother and father. In sessions, she learns to love herself without feeling guilty for prioritizing her own well-being. She begins to recognize that taking care of herself is not selfish. It is necessary. Slowly, Eva begins rebuilding her emotional safety and trust. She surrounds herself with supportive friends who respect her boundaries. She practices saying no without fear, knowing that her voice matters. She learns to enjoy her home again, to feel comfortable in her space, and to cherish the life she built on her own. Every day, she feels a little lighter, a little stronger, and a little freer. Eva also reconnects with her passions, small things that make her happy, like reading in the sunlight, cooking meals she loves, and planning little trips to celebrate her independence. She no longer worries constantly about other people's expectations or the debts of someone else. She is free to live her life on her own terms. For the first time in a long time, Eva feels a true sense of empowerment. She knows that she survived betrayal, manipulation, and fear, and she came out stronger on the other side. She has proven to herself that she can face anything and protect what is hers, both legally and emotionally. Eva's journey is far from over, but she now moves forward with confidence. She has learned to value her own peace, to trust herself, and to build a life that cannot be shaken by those who once tried to control her. Her home is more than walls and furniture. It is a symbol of her strength, independence, and resilience. Eva knows she can face the future without fear, and that thought brings her a quiet, deep happiness she has never felt before. Eva sits alone in her house, the home they tried to take from her. The rooms are quiet, the sunlight streaming softly through the windows. She takes a deep breath and feels a calm she hasn't felt in years. There is no anger, no bitterness, only peace. The chaos of the past, the threats, the lies, the betrayal, they are all behind her now. She looks around at the home she worked so hard to build. Every corner, every wall, every little detail reminds her of her journey. The long nights, the struggles, the fear. She survived all of it. And now finally she can feel safe in her own space, in her own life. She smiles softly to herself, realizing something important. "I wasn't meant to save the family that abandoned me," she whispers in her mind. "I was meant to save myself." Eva walks to the front door, her fingers brushing the handle. She locks it carefully, hearing the click echo in the quiet house. She leans against it for a moment, letting the reality sink in. This house, this life, it is hers. She built it, protected it, and earned it with her own strength. "This home, this life, it's mine," she whispers aloud, softly, firmly, like a promise to herself. For the first time in a long time, Eva feels completely free. No one can take this away from her. Not Rachel, not her stepmother, not even the father who once let her down. The past cannot reach her here. She sits back in her favorite chair, letting the warmth of the sunlight and the quiet of her sanctuary fill her. Everything is calm. Everything is hers. And in that moment, Ava knows that she is finally home. Not just in the house, but in her own life, in her own power, and in her own peace. Hey friends. Thanks for watching all the way through. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. See you next time.